Hey folks, I don't know how it happened, but apparently I got unsubscribed or I accidentally unsubscribed to IrateGamer. I don't know how that happened. But I've subscribed to him again, so... Anyway, I was watching some of his videos. I'm liking Season 5. It's really cool. But one of the things he talked about in some of his regular videos, in fact he did a 27-minute video on this, was the whole Amiibo craze and why people are doing this and that. And one of the things he mentioned was Disney Infinity in there, saying that Disney Infinity is not succeeding exactly the way Disney wanted them to, and vice versa. Well, I think he's got one point about it that is similar to Skylanders, and that is it's going to take time, but in time they're going to take off. There is no doubt about that. There is no doubt about that. The only problem I think people might have with the Disney Infinity is, do you got to keep getting another set? Do you have to keep getting this, even if you have the power dip? What is it called? The Infinity base. Do you have to keep getting this, even if you have the Infinity base already? Do you have to have another Infinity base, or you just got to get the game, and as things get updated? I don't really know. I think that's the big problem there. But he talked about how the Amiibos were popular and the craze that it's caused. In fact, I'm kind of surprised that at my job we have Luigi, we have Pikachu, we have Zelda, we have Link at my job right now, along with Donkey Kong. And he has said that these are basically, the reason for this is basically because these are the more common versions. These are the more common versions that, because people know who they are, they're going to have to basically apply, supply, they're basically going to have to do supply and demand with them. But when it comes to the other ones, like a Wii Fit trainer and a villager and maybe a Ness, even though they might be known, they're not known in the sense that makes them worthy right now of being excuse me, of being in that category of being mass produced as a keeping up with supply and demand. They're not in that category. Well, the one thing about when he mentioned Disney Infinity, even though he briefly mentioned it, and I know some people have their differences about the game, when I saw my nephews playing the game, I looked at it like this. I think basically what Disney Infinity is basically Disney meets Skylanders meets Minecraft. That's what it is. Or it's Disney meets Skylanders meets SimCity. That's basically what it is. It's nothing else. And you want to talk about figures flying off shelves. They do. They happen. There's been a lot of figures. I remember last year at my job, we had Elsa, we had Anna, we had all these figures. Those are gone now. And it's not because they're discontinued. It's because it's because they're very popular. Sorcerer's Apprentice, Mickey Mouse's Sorcerer's Apprentice, gone. Why? Because it's popular. Alright? And these, you might say, are common figures. Here's the common figures that are left at my job. Mostly the Marvel ones. Yeah, you got a few Disney ones in there as well. You've got, I'll show you them in a minute, but you have several Disney ones, but it's mostly dominated by Marvel. Why? Because Marvel is common. And people are used to seeing Marvel figures all over the place, so Disney pretty much figures, okay, no big deal. just like Nintendo, they realize, okay, there is a supply and demand for it, but not as much as Disney. In Disney, the Disney ones, the originals. In fact, I'll show you some of the originals that I got over there. I got the 2-pack of Aladdin and Jasmine, which you can get individually there, but not very much. I got Tinkerbell. Of course, I got the set, which has Mildred and Stitch. Mildred and Stitch. I got that. I got Hero from Big Hero 6. And basically from the first line, which makes it compatible, I got Woody, which is the more recent one. And if I can get her up, I got Rapunzel. So, with that said, Disney is kind of similar, Chris. And I want you, and Chris, I'm hoping, with all due respect, man, Disney is in a similar situation. Because yes, they've just reissued, apparently to me, a lot of Woodies. But when you take a look at the Disney figures compared to the Marvel figures, the Disney figures are going out faster than the Marvel figures because Marvel is very common. You've got comic books, you've got action figures and all that all over the place. So it's not uncommon or rare for them to be out because it's always there. Disney-wise, though, it's kind of the same thing as Amiibo. Maybe not in the level of the craze, but still, it's collectability-wise, it's kind of up there almost. Because of the fact that you don't see many Disney figures. And here's why. Because you didn't see many regular Disney figures growing up. Disney never supplied any action figures and stuff like that of Mickey, Donald, and all that. Unless you went to Disneyland itself or you collected stuff from McDonald's, things like that. So overall, just like the Amiibos are Nintendo's first official collectible figures, even though they can be used on games, the same goes for Disney. And just like, you know, the rare Amiibos of the Wii Fit Trainer, Villager, Ness, Meta Knight, and all that, just like they are flying off the shelves and people are buying them up and everything, they're doing the same with the Disney figures. They are. They're buying them up because of the fact of the rarity of them. Now, there is one thing though. The only way you can make sure you get both, if you will, the only way you can make sure you get every Infinity figure you can think of up to date. The only way you can get every Nintendo Amiibo figure up to date is either you go to Disneyland, you go to the Disney store online, you go to your local Disney store at your mall or whatever, you go to Disney World. Well, those are the only ways, in my opinion, even through Amazon, but mostly, and even with Amazon, you could do it, but mostly, like I said, the more easier ways of doing it is to get them from a Disney store, at your local mall, online, or going to Disneyland and going to Disney stores there, or going to Disney World, going to Disney stores there, or whatever. Same with Nintendo in a sense. Because Nintendo, you can go online, you can get stuff there. Your local video game shop, which could, you know, you go there if you can to try to get them. Good luck there. But the more common places is Nintendo World Store in New York, and maybe the Nintendo Store online. Those are the only areas, like I said, that just like with Disney's Infinity figures, that you can probably, along with Amazon, probably try to find, buy, and collect them. Now, I'm sure a lot of people always wondering, well, why are people so passionate about these Infinity and these Amiibo figures? Why are they buying up the ones that, like Infinity-wise, why are they buying up the ones that are Disney-wise? Why are they buying up these Amiibo figures, even if they're common and unrare, or uncommon and rare? Why are they doing this? Well, Chris, basically, you said best. IrateGamer Chris, he said it best. It's basically because some people want to scalp them, sell them for higher prices on eBay, iOffer, you name it. However, it's not just that either. You see, a lot of people don't always buy these because of the game. Yes, they buy them. Yes, they buy the game because they want to see exactly what the figure does. The big difference between Infinity and Amiibo is when you put your Amiibo on your Wii gamepad, it unlocks a lot of things. Like with Mario Party, you get the Amiibo Party, and you can play as your Amiibo, or at least a video game version of your Amiibo on there. And yes, it does, as Chris showed you, as you will see in Chris's video, the Amiibo does show up. Sorry about that, folks. Third time I've heard something like that go over. Well, like I said, your Amiibo will show up on the screen. The big difference, though, is even though your Amiibo, or at least a figure of it, might get involved with the Amiibo Party, a portion of Mario 10, when it comes to the other ones, all you do is unlock certain things. And I think, in a sense, that gets old after a while. Because after you've unlocked, it's like, what else are you going to do with the character, right? I mean, yeah, you can play as your Amiibo in Smash. And it's got different abilities and all that. And it unlocks stuff there, too. But besides Smash and Mario Party, what else does your Amiibo do? I mean, in Kart, you can't play as your Amiibo. It unlocks things. You know, can you play as it in the Super Mario series, in the Super Mario Brothers game? Just saying. The point is, folks, the point is, it's more along the lines that with Disney Infinity, you can do a lot more. You can actually play. You have to have a reason for this. Just like anybody that, I mean, Chris knows this well. Skylanders. You put the Skylanders on the on the power base, if you will, and you got to leave them there to play as them. And then, if you want to switch out, you can switch out. From what I've seen with the Amiibo, you can't do that. You got to have an Amiibo specifically for the specific game board or specific reasoning. Heck, you can't even use a Kirby or a Zelda or anything like that for Mario Party. What's the attraction in that? I mean, I'm not saying there's no attraction, okay? But still, it's frustrating. You buy up a Zelda, you buy up a Link and all that, and all you can use them in is maybe, what? You know, Smash and Mario Kart? Okay, fine. But otherwise, what's the point besides unlocking other things? With with Infinity, even though it's very similar to Skylanders, you could do a lot more. You could take, let's say, you could take a Tinkerbell. You could take Tinkerbell here. You could place her on the power base, And then when you want to remove her, you just remove her and it won't say anything. And you can take someone like Mildred right here, you can take her and change it up with her and there'll be no problem. The point is, the point I'm trying to get across is you get a lot more out of Infinity than you do with Amiibo. Not saying that Nintendo won't improve on that in the future. Now I know I'm going to have some people probably arguing that in the comments, and that's okay. But here's why I think the Amiibos are selling out. Here's why I think, you have this Amiibo craze going the way it is. Oops. And it's like I mentioned at the beginning. Let me place my stuff down here for a second. But it's like I said at the beginning. There's a reason for it. It's called collectability. You see, once they use the there's a lot of people, like I mentioned earlier, that'll buy these Infinity figures, or even in this case the Amiibo figures, and they won't buy them to use them in the game. No, they'll buy them to display them. That's right. They'll either keep them in the box and hang them up on the wall, or put them on the shelves accordingly, or they'll take them out of the box and put them on the shelves accordingly. It's all about collectability. That's all it is. And this is something that, again, like I said, fans have not seen Nintendo do. And that is bring out collectible figures of the characters that are decent size. Nintendo's never done that. All you've ever had from them are plushes or plushes backpacks, cups, stuff like that. You never had anything figurine or figure-wise. And for video game fanatics, or at least fans of Nintendo, this is something they've been waiting for. Now you might see things like with Sonic and be like, well, they've done Sonic figures before. Jax has done them. Yes, they have done Sonic figures. Don't get me wrong. Heck, I own a couple of them. But the point is, this is more of a figurine. It's a collectible thing that you display. You don't play with it. And the reason, to me, that is one of the main reasons people do this. They don't do it because they want to use it on the Mario parties or the Smash or the Mario Brothers or whatever out there, Mario Kart. They don't do that just because of that. They mostly buy them up because they want to collect them. They want to collect them, display them, so that let's say they do a room tour that you can see on YouTube or Dailymotion or Blimp. When they do a room tour, they can go into the room and say, and here's all my Amiibo figures. Either showing them hanging on the wall or displayed in box, like I say, on the wall or displayed on box on shelf or out of box on shelf. They can say, here's all my Amiibo figures. And to answer your question, no, I've never put them on my Wii because I'm only collecting them. And that's about it. That's why the craze is going up. And that's why you also have people buying up multiple ones as well. Because they know that people are going to want them are going to want them for the same reason, to collect, not to play. Well, maybe both, but mostly to collect. That's why these things are going through the roof. That's why that one guy who bought all those Rosalinas, you think he's honestly buying them because he doesn't like the character? No. He's buying them because he's going to scalp them for high prices, as well as he's collecting maybe one or two to display. He's not going to let anybody know that. He's not going to let anybody know that, which is why they're highly sought out. I'll give you an example. This here contains all my Lord of the Rings figures I got when I was working for my job at Burger King, along with the ring.